Well, hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of The Goldie Show with me, Goldie Ghamari, your host, former Canadian politician, current geopolitical analyst, and Iran human rights activist. If you're watching live, let me know in the live stream chat where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching afterwards, let me know in the comments in the video description because I always love knowing where everyone is tuning in from. So tonight, I have some insane videos to share with you of the meltdown that's happening inside of the Islamic regime. Because a lot of people are looking at President Trump's Truth Social posts and they're thinking, oh, President Trump is folding. President Trump is surrendering to the Islamic regime. President Trump is giving up. Really? The people who say this are either, one, saying it in bad faith, or two, they're completely clueless and uninformed when it comes to the Islamic regime that's been occupying Iran. Because one of the core foundational pillars of the Islamic regime, back when it took over Iran in 1979, was this never-ending jihad with the West. Their chants of death to America, the great Satan, death to Israel, the little Satan. That's not just a slogan. That's not just something they say. That is literally one of the core foundational pillars of the Islamic regime. It's their foreign policy. It's their raison d'être, their reason for existence. It's what gives them legitimacy, in their eyes anyway, to fuel Islamic terrorism and fund their Islamic terrorist proxy groups in the Middle East, like Hamas, Hashd-e-Shabi, Hezbollah, Houthis, and others. So imagine how the Islamic regime supporters must be feeling right now when they're seeing the news that President Trump is putting out about how supposedly the Islamic regime is now going to sign a deal, a peace deal, with the killers of their beloved supreme dictator, Ali Khamenei, who still hasn't been buried yet, by the way. That's the key to understanding what's going on in occupied Iran. And that's the key to understanding how President Trump, I believe, has put the Islamic regime in a checkmate situation. Because if the Islamic regime capitulates and actually signs the MOU, well, they're basically signing a surrender deal. They're basically, at that point, they would be acknowledging that their entire reason for existence, which is, fighting the great Satan, America, no longer exists. Then what? What is the Islamic regime going to do then? Because it has been exporting its revolutionary, anti-American, anti-Israel ideology for the last 47 years. So you can understand why supporters of the Islamic regime are having a meltdown. They're calling for not the resignation, but the death of the people who are allegedly going to be signing this MOU. That's Ghalibaf and Arakchi. Let's get right into it. But before we do so, I want to go to President Trump's Truth Social post that he just posted 15 minutes ago. And this Truth Social post confirms exactly what I have been saying all along. So, just moments ago, President Trump posted on Truth Social, Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Also, the story that the US is paying Iran $300 million is fake news put out by the Democrats, President Donald J. Trump. Let me repeat that part because the first line, the first sentence is the most important. Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Really? Who exactly within the Islamic regime has agreed to not have a nuclear weapon, to not enrich uranium? Because as far as I can tell, when I'm monitoring Islamic regime news networks and Islamic regime propaganda, they have always and constantly said that nuclear enrichment and developing a nuclear bomb is their Allah-given right. So you can imagine the utter chaos that's happening inside of the Islamic regime right now. Not just amongst the officials, but amongst their supporters. Because now they're pointing fingers and they're saying, wait, who agreed to this? Who capitulated? They have literally gone on and on and on claiming that the United States, the great Satan, will never prevent them from acquiring a nuclear weapon, which is their Allah-given, divine Allah right or whatever. But now President Trump is saying that they have agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. You can see how this is causing a lot of chaos. But don't take my word for it. You don't have to take my word for it, because I actually have footage and videos to share with you. Quite a bit, actually. So let's go with the first one. And I shared this earlier today, but this is a very good one. Look at this. This is the reaction from supporters of the Islamic regime to the news that the Islamic regime is potentially going to sign a Memorandum of Understanding with the United States. Let's watch this. So, for all of our Iranian viewers watching tonight, به قول خودمون براتون تراپی آوردم. So, in English, that would be, guys, I'm bringing you some therapy. So these are a bunch of Islamic regime durkas, and they're basically, hitting their heads, they're beating their chests, they're holding pictures of the dead Ayatollah, the one they still haven't buried yet. They're literally in the street, like they're freaking out. They're literally freaking out about the possibility that the Islamic regime might sign this MOU with the United States. This is their guys. They are living their worst nightmare because the supporters of the Islamic regime, they view this as surrender. Remember when I've been telling you, if the Islamic regime signs this MOU, that's going to be viewed as surrender by their supporters. They are literally surrendering to the murderers of their beloved supreme dictator. Watch this again. Look at how they're literally hitting themselves in the heads right now. Yeah, that's what you don't see in the mainstream media and the mainstream news. And that's why a lot of analysts aren't getting the proper picture. And of course, as usual, Islamic regime supporters continue to chant, death to America, Magbat America. Do you actually seriously think that anyone who shows up to Geneva on Friday, June 19, to sign that MOU, to stand beside J.D. Vance or possibly President Trump, shake their hands and say, yes, let's come to a peace deal. Do you think that person is going to survive? Watch this. Now, keep in mind, this might look like a big crowd, but it actually isn't. Remember, the population of Iran is 90 million. About 5% of the population supports the Islamic regime. So that's about 4.5 million people. What you're seeing here is a crowd of, I don't know, maybe 2,000, 3,000, right? In the context of 90 million people, 2,000 to 3,000 is not a lot. However, what I can tell you is that this is putting a lot of pressure on Islamic regime officials. So there's that freak out. Now, here is, this one has subtitles, which is nice. But look at this, guys, look at this one. So when I tell you that these Islamic regime supporters are literally calling for the deaths of IRGC and Ghalibaf, I'm not exaggerating. Look at this. They're in the streets, they're chanting, اگر چیزی کشته شه مسئول باید اگر چیزی امضا شه مسئول باید کشته شه, which means if anything is signed, the official must be killed, right? So they're saying anyone who signs this MOU with the great Satan, the great Satan, the United States, if anyone makes a peace deal with the murderer of their beloved supreme dictator, that person is an enemy and must be executed. They're literally calling for death. And you can see they're holding a picture of Ali Khamenei here, right? Like this one, this garbage bag woman. She's holding a picture of the dead supreme dictator, right? There's that one. I have more for you. We are just getting started. Here's the next one. Right, let me close the ones that I already shared with you. Okay, here's this one. Look at this. They're chanting death to those who death to the compromisers. So in their nightly rallies, instead of chanting, death to America, death to Israel, they're chanting death to the peacemakers, death to the people who are like going to sign the deal, right? Do you actually think that anyone from the side of the Islamic regime is going to show up on Friday in Geneva to sign this deal when the supporters of the Islamic regime are literally calling for their deaths? Makes it kind of awkward, doesn't it? Makes it kind of awkward. Wow, here's another one. So, they're saying قالیباف عراقچی از خون رهبرم چی, which means قالیباف عراقچی. What about the blood of our beloved supreme dictator, right? Ali Khamenei, the one that was exterminated like the garbage that he was by the United States and Israel. Yeah. They're saying what? So basically this chant means, why are you, Araqchi and Ghalibaf, why are you making a deal with the killers of our beloved supreme dictator? What about his blood, right? Why are you making a peace deal with the great Satan? There you go. So there's that one. And then, oh wait, let me go to the next video here. Same thing. They're saying Ghalibaf, Araqchi, Pas khune rahbaram chi. What about our beloved supreme dictator that was murdered? Guys, do you see this angry mob of jihadis? By the way, these are the same people that are responsible for the murder of over 40,000 innocent unarmed Iranians on January 8 and 9. I have a lot of footage about that as well, but I'll share that. I'll save that for another live stream, because tonight we're focusing on the internal meltdown and collapse of the Islamic regime and their supporters, and the fact that they have now turned in on one another. So instead of focusing on the United States, the great Satan, or Israel, the little Satan, or instead of even focusing on His Royal Highness, King Reza Pahlavi, the leader of the Iranian National Lion and Sun Revolution, they've forgotten all about that. And instead, they're focusing on each other. They're calling out one another. So there's that. Next one. Wait, what's this one? Okay. Look at this. More death to the peacemakers. Seems like the supporters of the Islamic regime are not really happy, aren't they? They're not really happy about the prospect of peace with the United States, aka the Great Satan. They don't want peace. They want war. Because these 7th century inbred Durka jihadis legitimately believe that they were this close to eradicating the United States and Israel. They actually believe that. They legitimately, in their like weird, deluded terrorist heads, they legitimately believe that they were this close to eradicating the United States. And the only thing that's preventing them from carrying out their holy Islamic jihad mission of exterminating the Great Satan are Ghalibaf and IRGC, supposedly, who apparently are going to be signing this MOU. Yeah. They legitimately believe that they are about to destroy the United States. That's why they're angry. Because they think that the only thing stopping them from destroying the United States is this peace deal. Because they were this close, this close. Okay, I have some more videos for you. And guys, don't worry, we will go to Fox News. Let me just pull it up so I can keep an eye on it as well. Because I do want to hear sort of the American side of things. And, you know, we'll get like a quick update on the American side. All right, so I'm curious to see what Jesse Waters has to say about all of this. So yeah, that's going to be quite fascinating. Okay. So now they're calling for Ghalibaf and IRGC. Now, guys, if you don't recall, let me pull up the Boom Boom Bingo sheet so I can share with you who they're referring to here. So they're referring to, on our Durka Jihadi Boom Boom Bingo sheet, they're referring to Ghalibaf and IRGC. Okay, so Ghalibaf is the Speaker of Parliament, and IRGC is the Foreign Affairs Minister. So the Islamic regime now views them as traitors, or the supporters of the Islamic regime anyway, right? View them as traitors, especially IRGC. Why? Because President Trump took a screenshot of IRGC's post on X and he shared it on his Truth Social. So now a lot of Islamic regime supporters view IRGC as a traitor, an infiltrator. They're calling him a Zionist spy. They're calling him a sellout. That's why they're calling not just for their resignation, IRGC and Ghalibaf, not just for their resignation, they're calling for their deaths. Yeah. Oh, I see some people are, okay, I'm just going to go to this question really quick just because I want to answer it quickly. So William says, you were great on Piers Morgan today. Thank you. How do you put up with idiots? Oh my gosh. I mean, it's definitely difficult. But ultimately, the reason that I go on Piers Morgan is just to amplify the voices of the Iranian people. So I really don't care what non-Iranians have to say. I mean, they're all living in their own fantasy land, whether it's Trump derangement syndrome or whether it's like, I don't know, Islamic regime talking points. Yeah, so I don't go there to debate like idiots. I go there to amplify the voices of the Iranian people, because ultimately that's what matters, right? Like I'm not gonna go and change the minds of like some, I don't know, like that like Pakistani guy who's like just suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, right? Like I'm never gonna like convince him, and I'm not going there to convince him, or even like deal with what he has to say. It's more just using the opportunity to amplify the voices of the Iranian people. But I mean, yeah, like it does get tiresome after a while, because like every single time I go on Piers Morgan, the conversation always like goes back to Israel and the Jews and blah blah blah, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, really, like it's like the same old like broken record just over and over again. It just gets really tiresome. Jonathan Conricus called it out very well, actually. But yeah, there you go. I'm just there to share info, and people can do what they want with that. But like, I'm not going to let anyone speak over the Iranian people, and basically, tell us what we think, right? I mean, don't Iran-splain Iran to an Iranian, right? Like you can't Iran-splain our country to us, because while those people are like, oh, President Trump lost, blah blah blah, right? This is the reality. This is literally what's happening in occupied Iran right now. So to me, like, how can anyone think President Trump is losing when the Islamic regime and their supporters are literally infighting? They're going after one another, and they're calling for the deaths of like various officials now. So there you go. There's one video, and let's go to the next one. Wow, that's kind of catchy. That's a catchy one. Magbad Arakchiye Bi Sharafe Nofuzi. Wow. So they're saying death to Arakchi, the dishonorable infiltrator, right? Because again, ever since President Trump posted that X post from Arakchi, the foreign minister, whenever, as soon as President Trump posted that on his Truth Social, the Islamic regime supporters went crazy, right? And now they're basically saying death to Arakchi, the dishonorable infiltrator. So that's this guy here, right? This guy. Where is he? There you go. This guy. They're saying death to Arakchi, the dishonorable infiltrator. Let's listen to that again now that you know what they're saying. Right? Like, and this is the thing. Like, you have to look at what President Trump is doing within the proper framework and proper context, right? Because, people who aren't familiar with the Islamic regime or their supporters or the internal machinations of it, they'll see President Trump, post something from Arakchi, and they're like, oh no, President Trump's agreeing with the Islamic regime. Guys, it's the opposite. When President Trump is posting something from an Islamic regime official, that's interpreted as the Islamic regime official is agreeing with President Trump, or that Islamic regime official is endorsed by President Trump. And if President Trump is endorsing, remember President Trump, the great Satan, right? The great Satan exterminated their beloved pedophile Ayatollah, right? So the fact that President Trump is now posting that, wait.
It again.
The main thing is that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. I fully agree to that.
The Knicks pick up a dub. Welcome to Fight Club.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break from the internal footage to see what Jesse Waters has to say, because I always appreciate his takes, and then we'll go back to more exclusive internal footage.
Democrats.
Loving our country is starting to sound like an abused spouse saying they love their abuser.
Plus,
what are you packing?
Gum.
Gum to protect yourself.
No, the gum's to protect you from my breath.
Fox News alert, the president just landed in France for the G7 with a gift. World peace. It's what he said he wanted for his birthday.
We ended up making a deal. I felt badly that we had to go back on the attack for 2 nights, and I thought a third, but we made it before that happened. But I think a lot of great things are going to happen in the Middle East right now, and very importantly, the oil is plummeting down, and the stock market is shooting up like a rocket today, like record kind of numbers. And the oil has taken its biggest plunge.
Oil fell to the low 80s, and the stock market rallied to record highs. After the 47-year war with Iran looks to be over, all we're missing is the John Hancock in ink. The U.S. and Iran have already signed it electronically. DocuSign. Didn't know they had that in Iran. Friday is the signing ceremony in Switzerland because, you know, politicians need the photo op.
Sir, are you going to try to attend the signing ceremony on Friday?
Well, it depends. JD's coming in for it. He was originally going to do it. I'll probably be gone by then. We're having dinner in a day and a half, right? We're going to be staying quite late. So I may be involved, I may not. But JD was coming in for that specifically.
The gay Ayatollah has given approval for the deal. We killed his dad and he wants peace. Why? He doesn't have a choice. Being the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism wasn't working. He was facing economic strangulation and his nuclear program was basically destroyed. Iran had lost its leverage over the Strait. Project Freedom was shepherding over 7 million barrels a day through Hormuz, right under their noses. They couldn't do anything about it.
I think your viewers need to remember, Project Freedom never stopped, and we've run 125 million barrels of oil through the Straits, and Iran couldn't do anything about it. Yeah. How many ships from Iran have transited our blockade? Zero. We have controlled the Straits this entire time.
The 2 days of airstrikes last week pushed the enemy over the edge. White House sources say the Iranians were impressed by the precision of the U.S. military, the president's commitment to victory, and resigned to the fact that U.S. intelligence had eyes on every inch of their country. The mullahs concluded that nuking up in the dark was impossible and stupid. They needed the deal. So what's in it?
The main thing is that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. They fully agreed to that with strong policing powers, and they won't have a nuclear weapon, which is what it was all about, because they probably would have used it if they had it. So we had two big moments when they terminated the JCPOA, that was the Obama deal, the Barack Hussein Obama deal. And when I terminated that, it was very important because it was a road to a nuclear weapon.
Iran has agreed in principle that the uranium will be destroyed and removed. This process will be negotiated within 30 days of signing. All three of Iran's nuke sites are buried. Iran can't get access to the dust. They don't have the technical expertise. It's highly volatile, dangerous, and deep. The only people who can extract it, us. We're going to get it. We're going to downgrade it so they'll never, ever have a nuclear weapon.
Whether you are saying ground troops would be involved in cleaning up nuclear dust.
That you're saying that you're trying to put words
No,
in my
I'm
mouth to
asking
create a
you.
headline. What I'm saying is we have plans. No, we have plans for everything. And should the president need a compel option, we have compel options and many different types of compel options. But right now we've set the conditions for 60 days to ensure that that material is downblended, destroyed, or removed.
No dust, no dollars. Only after the uranium is vaporized will the Iranians get any sanctions relief.
This is a performance-based thing. If we see the Iranians making, for example, taking action to eliminate their stockpile of enriched material, then yes, sanctions relief will follow. If we see the Iranians taking action to allow the kind of verification regime that we need to see to know that they're not going to build a nuclear weapon, yes, sanctions relief will follow.
And boy, are the Iranians desperate, because their country is in a deep, deep depression. The bombs and the blockade cost them $1 trillion. Now, if they behave, the Gulf states are willing to invest $300 billion to rebuild the Iranian economy. The thinking being that once you're in business with your neighbor, war with your neighbor is bad for business. Any story about Iran getting a pile of cash up front, fake news. That's just Iranian spin. The details of the deal, they'll be released after Friday. Everybody will be able to read it. The deal is a performance deal, and every dollar released to them is tied to verifiable and irreversible steps that they take. Once they sign Friday, the Strait immediately opens. No tolls, never, and no money exchanges hands. The blockade will be lifted once we see the Mosquito fleet and drones stand down. The Strait's already coming back to life.
The Strait is already partially opened. As you know, they're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found. But it's essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday, it'll be completely opened.
25 ships a day are now passing through. Officials believe that number will double soon, and that full shipping out of the Gulf is expected to be back to normal in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, we know exactly where the mines are, we're told, and multiple sea routes are already safe and secure for passage. We're also told by senior U.S. officials that there is a mechanism in the deal so that no one can ever close the Strait ever again. The proxies don't get a pass either. They're written into the memorandum. If Iran can't control their proxies, no economic relief. They'll have to keep Hezbollah on a leash. But if Hezbollah attacks Israel, Israel can hit back. Plain and simple. Speaking of Israel, this deal wasn't without a few bumps in the road. When Israel struck Beirut, Trump told Netanyahu, "What the F are you doing?" and told Fox, Bibi should not have done what he did. Our military force posture will remain in place until the uranium is removed and the final deal is signed. The United States is, for the first time ever, has a direct line to Iranian regime leadership. And we feel confident that their behaviors change. And if it doesn't, the president has tools.
What the president really wanted to do, not just with the last 6 weeks, but really the last year and a half of Iran policy, is to get us to a place where we could change our relationship fundamentally with the Iranians and ensure that they never have a nuclear weapon. We feel that we're at that place now. We're, of course, going to continue to verify that, continue to negotiate and talk to the Iranians. But this is a big day for the American people, a big win for everybody who cares about basic peace and stability in the Middle East.
Democrats are downbeat on the news that we won the war and are securing the peace. Hip sounds like the gay Ayatollah.
This reckless and costly war of choice has been a disaster as it relates to strengthening the national security of the American people. Things aren't better for us, they're worse. In fact, Iran is stronger right now.
The president's timeline for the excursion was quite accurate. Oil and gas prices are coming down, and we're on the precipice of hopefully a regional peace deal. This all done without ground troops. The combination of an aerial campaign and a naval blockade got the job done decisively and overwhelmingly. This is one of the greatest military campaigns in American history. Barack Hussein Obama, hardest hit.
It is doubtful that any agreement that arises is going to be significantly different or a significant improvement from the deal that we had in the first place.
There are a lot of differences between Obama's deal and this. The Ayatollah is dead. So's their military. Their proxies are covered in this deal. The Gulf states have skin in the game. We're getting the uranium. There's no enrichment, no stockpiling, and we can inspect whenever and wherever we want. And we didn't even have to bribe them. The Obama Library might need to do some renovations. Robert Greenway is the principal architect of the Abraham Accords. Robert, the nuclear dust, we're going to negotiate that over the next couple of weeks. How challenging is that going to be?
Well, it's great to be with you, Jesse. I think the most important thing to remember here is that the president's bold actions have ensured that the enriched uranium, which is about 1,400 kilograms of 20 and 60% uranium, are buried in 3 sites as a result of Operation Midnight Hammer and the actions of our Israeli partners and allies. As a result, the Iranians can't access it, but if they could, they wouldn't be able to enrich it because that also has been destroyed. For the first time since 2006, the infrastructure that the Obama and Biden administrations paid for, that I suspect are being mourned right now, ultimately have been destroyed by President Trump, and so it's not an immediate threat. But in the end, it has to be removed. I don't know that downblending is the right answer. There is disagreement among the community. I think in the end, it has to be removed from the country, and it can't be in the possession of our adversaries. That looks like it's happening. And as you said, they get no rewards until they comply.
That's a good ironclad mechanism to enforce. The Obama situation, he's out on the Sunday shows saying, my deal was better, this deal's nothing. What's that all about?
Well, it's an absurd comparison because President Trump has eliminated the threat that the Biden and Obama administration attempted to manage. And all they did was fuel the problem that President Trump has had to resolve. We literally paid for the programs, the ballistic missile, the drone, and the uranium enrichment programs that the Iranians developed as a result of the JCPOA. President Trump has finally proved that the best verification is done by explosives. And so we didn't have to independently assess or inspect any sites. We had to destroy them. That's now been done. The military now has created a situation which Iran is completely defenseless. The patient's been anesthetized. We can operate at will. It's a radically different situation than the Biden and Obama administration. And so there's no comparison to the deal. We're in a remarkably stronger place thanks to the president's actions.
Do you think Israel is going to be a factor in contributing to this deal?
I think in a positive way. First, we've got complete alignment in strategic cooperation goals and objectives. We've never been closer, never operated and cooperated more closely on the file of Iran than we have now under President Trump. Not even in the first administration where I'd say it was an apogee. And secondly, I think that in the end of the day, having the viable Israeli threat supported and assisted by the United States provides incentive for Israel and for Iran to comply with the deal. They know that if they don't obey, they have the United States to bring them to bear, and they know that Israel will be right behind us, shoulder to shoulder.
And the broader regional peace deal that's being envisioned by this investment fund, rehabilitating the Iranian energy sector, making some money through transactional deals. How do you see that playing out?
This is the fruition of the president's vision in establishing the Abraham Accords, tie together our partners and allies and provide an incentive. This is going to end 2 ways. Iran complies, in which they're rewarded. If they don't, it'll be done by force. Either way, we win.
Make money, not war. Sounds good to me. Robert, thank you so much. Europeans are in town for the World Cup, and they love America.
I cannot speak English, but I'm excited!
Cool. All right, so that was pretty much Jesse Waters and talking about the latest on what's happening with the Islamic regime occupying Iran from the American perspective. Quick plug, those of you who joined me for the optional class field trip last night to my sister's YouTube channel, the Ghamari Report. She actually did a documentary watch party on uranium enrichment and what it all means. So it was actually really interesting now watching this news clip because everything that they were talking about, we went through last night in detail. And she basically explained it to all of us, and she gave us she showed us some amazing charts and graphs that she made. So let me just go ahead before I continue. Let me post the link to her YouTube channel and all of the various streams for where everyone is tuning in from, because she spoke about like the different kinds of uranium enrichment. And guys, she basically confirmed that if you have like 60% uranium enrichment, it could take a matter of 2 to 4 weeks to go from 60% uranium to 90% uranium. And 90% enriched uranium is what you use to make the boom booms, right? So she went through all of that. And, I had a lot of questions, and she was very patient with me, and she answered all my questions because, nuclear chemistry isn't exactly the easiest topic, but Rose has just a fantastic way of explaining it in a way that even someone like myself can understand. So definitely make sure, if you're curious to know about the uranium enrichment stuff, go watch that. You don't even have to watch the documentary part. I would say just watch like the first hour of her live stream. That's like where she herself goes through it and answers questions and has like like all these diagrams and stuff. So yeah, definitely that. It's a hidden gem, and like she basically goes through it all. So I just wanted to add that there. But it really was helpful, because now when I was like watching this interview with Jesse Waters and that other guy, they were talking about uranium and downblending and all that kind of stuff. Like now I understand, like, because it all makes sense to me now, because she went through it all and explained it. So definitely go check that out. All right. Okay. So there you go. That's sort of the American perspective. Guys, I actually have something really, really funny for you. So it's not just the Islamic regime supporters that are having a meltdown. It's people are trolling. They are trolling Ghalibaf. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So in Persian, you know what? Let me actually make this bigger. Wait, how do I do this? All right, give me a moment, guys. All right, let me just fix my settings here so I can make the text bigger so that it's easier for you guys to see. There we go. Does this work? Okay. All right. Okay. So, wait, I don't think that's too big. There we go. Okay. So, guys, Ghalibaf. So that on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, that's this guy here, okay? So, Ghalibaf, this one, he posted on on X, okay? And he posted in Persian. And he wrote, "Beloved and tall-statured people of Iran," right? "With your historic resistance and the valor of the armed forces against those who sought the life of this nation and the destruction and surrender of this homeland, Iran took a great step toward final victory. They wanted to, but they couldn't. We stand firm, and in the end, our Iran will triumph by the grace of God." So this is the thing. Whenever the Islamic regime wants to like rally the troops and get the support of the people, it's always like Iran, right? Like they pretend that they're all about Iran. However, whenever they're calling for war and death and whatever, or whenever Iranian people want to rise up to reclaim the country, it's always about Islam and the Islamic regime. So it's always like this dual-natured thing, right? So in this situation right now, Ghalibaf is trying to rally support from the Iranian nation, even though he's anti-Iranian, He's pro-Islamic regime. He's part of the Islamic regime, right? And the Islamic regime murders Iranians. The Islamic regime holds Iranians hostage. So he's trying to, like, you know, drum up some support because, as you recall, the jihadi Durkas are literally calling for him. So Magbat Araqchi بیشرف نفوذی
ای غربگراها بر پدر و مادرتون لعنت. آقای عراقچی خاک بر سرت کنن. ببین مردم دارن سکته میکنن جلوی وزارت امور خارجه، به قرآن دارن سکته میکنن، داد و بیداد. ای بر پدرتون لعنت، ای بر کس و کارتون لعنت، ای بر
The Iranians, like the regime supporters, they're swearing. And they're all chanting death to the peacemakers or the negotiators or whatever, right? But guys, it gets better, right? Look at this. Wait, how do I make this big? Okay. The quality is blurry, but here you go. Here's another clip. Sorry for the blurry quality, guys. So they're saying na sazish, na taslim, nabard ba Amerika, which means no peace. So basically no deal, no surrender, war with America, right? So they're basically, so the Durka jihadis right now tonight are in the streets marching angrily, right? And they're basically saying no deal, no surrender, only war with America, right? That's how we pronounce America in Persian, America. Look, you can even see like the mullahs, right? Look at all the turban. Look at all the turban wearers. Even like the turban wearers are showing up in their weird, stinky dresses. Look at them. Look at them. They're like, oh, war, jihad, right? Oh my gosh, like, and do you see, like, most of them are old. Like, they're literally all like old geriatric men, right? Like, this is the same generation that basically helped to overthrow the Shah of Iran, destroy our, constitutional monarchy that we had, take over the country in an illegal military coup d'etat, and turn the country into a 7th century Islamic hellhole governed by Sharia law. And so now that's why all these men, like these old men, and like all these like mullahs are like, oh, like no deal, no surrender, only war with America, right? Look at this guy. This guy doesn't even care. Guys, this guy is so checked out. Look, like you can tell like this guy doesn't even want to be there. Like he's literally walking. He's on his phone. Guys, keep in mind, a lot of these people, they also are probably employed by the Islamic regime, right? So the reason that they're out there is because, like their livelihoods literally depend on the Islamic regime surviving, because they're all, grifters. So, but look at this guy. This guy's like totally like checked out. Everyone around him is like, war with America. This guy's just like, I don't know, on his phone, probably texting, I don't know, his girlfriend or like his 4th wife or something. I don't know. Well, you know what? He's there with his dad. His dad made him come out. His jihadi dad made him come out. Look at that. Oh, look, the concubines showed up, the garbage bags, guys, all the trash bags showed up now, right? The walking trash bags. Oh my god! Whoa! Momelete Hossein. Oh my gosh. Okay, so guys, the jihadis are now chanting, "We are the nation of Hossein." Guys, Hossein is a dead Arab warlord that the Shia Muslim people worship, right? Hassan Hussein, whatever. He's one of their, I don't know, one of the 12 imams or something, right? So these people, like, this is what I mean when I say that the Islamic regime is a foreign invasion and there's nothing Iranian about them. They're literally admitting, they're like, we are the descendants of Hussein, the Arab warlord, right? Literally, he's saying we are the descendants of Hussein, the Arab warlord. Hussein! Hussein! Wow!
ما ملت حسینی ذلت نمیپذیری.
So they're saying, like, we are like the descendants of Hussein, the Muslim Arab warlord. We're not going to accept humiliation or defeat or something like that, right? Wow. See, that's what I tell you. Like, they're not even Iranian, right? Like, nothing about their chant. So, okay, this is actually really like a very good like learning opportunity here. So, going back to what Ghalibaf was saying, okay? So when I tell you, like the Islamic regime officials, okay, when they're trying to like rally the troops, when they're feeling threatened or things like that, they always talk about Iran, right? Iran this, Iran that. Oh, Iran this, Iran is a great ancient civilization, blah, 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 blah. However, in the streets, it's all about their Arab warlords. It's all about their dead Arab warlords. It's all about Hussein. Look at this. Wow. Listen, I agree. I mean, I 100% agree with them. They are the descendants of Hussein because they're not Iranian. They're jihadi Durkas and they're foreign occupying invaders. And they should probably go back to, I don't know, like Najaf where they belong, or I don't know, whatever garbage hellhole they came from, because they're certainly not Iranian, right? I agree. On that I agree. On that I 100% agree with them. They are the nation of Hussein. They're the nation of the dead Arab warlord Hussein. You can have him. Like, you have him, because we don't want him. We don't want Hussein. And then look, they even have like a picture of their dead supreme dictator there, right? Guys, this is the jihadis literally having a meltdown. This is the Islamic regime having a meltdown. The reason that they're doing this rally is because they are angry. They are angry that supposedly Arakchi and Ghalibaf are going to sign like an MOU with the great Satan, with the United States, right? And so they're chanting, they're saying, we are the nation of Hussein. We are the descendants of Hussein, the dead Arab Muslim warlord. We will not accept humiliation or defeat. Look at that. Like they've literally gone full jihad. Guys, what are they saying? You know what they're saying here. I know you heard it. Those of you who've been tuning in for a while and know your Persian, what did he just say? What did they just start chanting in this video? Remember, this is in response. This is in response to the news that Arakchi and Ghalibaf are going to be signing a peace deal, supposedly, with the great Satan, the United States. What did they just start chanting? What did they start chanting? I know you heard it. Okay, it's going to come now. Listen, listen. There, yeah, see, Atki got it. Atki got it. Marg bar America, death to America, right? Literally, the chant that they've been chanting for the last 47 years. Marg bar America is not just a chant or a slogan. It's literally their foreign policy. It's their entire reason for existence, right? Does this look like the Islamic regime supporters are going to accept a peace deal or even a peace MOU with the United States? Do you really think? This is what I mean when I say that the Islamic regime is incorrigible. You cannot negotiate with them. You cannot reason with them, right? Like, these are not rational, normal people. These are literally 7th century inbred jihadis. They are part of this Islamic Shia cult of death, right? All they care about is exporting their Islamic revolution and jihad around the world. If the core, one of the core foundational pillars of the Islamic regime has been this death to America policy. President Trump knows this. President Trump understands this. By President Trump going out on social media and in the media and in press conferences and announcements, for him to openly say that the Islamic regime has agreed to a peace treaty with the United States, President Trump knows and understands that by saying that, he is causing even more internal division and collapse within the Islamic regime, to the point where all the Durka jihadis are now out in the streets tonight and they're chanting death to America, right? Look at this. Look at these people. Like, they're literally freaking out. They're having a meltdown. Look at this one. This one's like beating her chest, right? Look, now they're getting into like the Hey Dad Durka music. Hey Dad, guys, I told you. They're now going into like their Hey Dad hoedown. This is like their jihadi songs where they basically beat their chests and they're like Allah Allah Muhammad Jihad Hey Dad whatever, right? Goldie. Oh, that's so funny. No, that's not me. That's not me. I don't actually own a chador. I don't own a chador. But that's so funny, yeah. Look at that. Look at the garbage bag there. Too funny. I like your sense of humor. For those of you who don't know, so once in a while on Iran Revolution Live, my co-host and I, Armin Navabi, we will go full Hey Dad when we're sharing like some Hey Dad hoedown music videos. So, just because we want to get everyone in the mood. Like we want to give you, the opportunity to really experience the Hey Dad hoedown, right? So yeah, so we show you what it's like to go full Hey Dad once in a while. Yeah, yeah. There. Oh my gosh, she even remembered my jihadi name. It's Sakine. Yeah, Sakine the Durka Slayer. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. Okay. He's like Faryad Bezan Yo Haydar, which means yell, Yo Haydar, right? Haydar is like their Islamic jihad or whatever, right? Like their jihadi Islamic battle. It's like Haydar, right? Like the guys, this is like this, like they've gone like full Durka to the extreme. It's Hey Dad, Heydar. One word, Hey Dad. Oh look, there's even like the stinky mullahs. Like the stinky mullahs with like their stinky robes are there. They're like, Hey Dad, right? Like, look at that. Right? And then guys, see? So he's mentioning Karbala. Okay, Karbala is a city in Iraq, right? So they're basically saying that they're the descendants of Hussein, the dead Arab Muslim warlord, and they're singing about Karbala which is a city in Iraq. So like these Durka jihadis, they literally need to like go back to Karbala where they belong and just like, you know, get out of Iran, right? Just get out of Iran. This is what I mean when I say like they're literally like foreign occupiers, right? Like they're not even Iranian. These people are not Iranian. They're infiltrators. Okay, so there's one. And let me show you another video here. Let's find this one. What's this one? Oh my gosh, guys. The amount of like Durka-ness that I have for you tonight. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. Wait, no, wait. You know what? We already saw this one. We saw this one with the English subtitles. That one was the one where they're chanting, if anyone signs anything, if any official signs anything, that official must be executed. So we've already seen that one earlier on in the live stream. Okay, here's one that we have not seen. Okay, this one has music. So I think I should probably play it without the audio because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Let me just see. Yeah, okay. So guys, this one has full on Durka music. I can't play it because I will get copyright striked. So let me just add my own copyright-free music so that we can still enjoy. Where's my music? Oh, there we go. Okay. Guys, I found it. Here we go. Good one. Oh my gosh, what is that? What was that? Guys, they literally had the child. Sorry, look at this. Like, look how crazy these people are. They're literally like dressing up their children to be like pretend soldiers and putting them like on the roof of the car. Like, do you see how insane these people are? Like, it's literally a death cult. It's literally like a jihadi death cult. This is full on child abuse. Like full on child abuse. Sorry guys, I'm having some technical difficulties. All right, let's continue. I was having technical difficulties, but I'm back. All right. You know what? I'm going to play the whole thing from the beginning without any interruption so you guys can just appreciate the entire Durka-ness, okay? Where's this? Wait, guys, let me just check something here. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. Oh no, the Durkas. Okay, no wait. I figured it out. All right, guys. Okay, so we are good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to play the whole video with no interruption, and we can just enjoy the utter insanity of the Durka jihadis right now, okay? Like they've literally gone insane. So let's get started. Wow. Okay. So, that honestly, like that circus music I found has been so fitting for so many different things. But guys, I want to point something out. Look at how sparse the streets are, right? Look at this. Look at this, guys. Like the streets are literally empty, right? So when people who support the Islamic regime, or when, like the, Trump derangement syndrome people, or the, Democrats or whoever, the jihadis, the Islamists, they come and they're like, oh, the Islamic regime has more support than ever before. Guys, look, the streets are literally empty. And guys, remember, the Islamic regime, they always want to make themselves look good. So this is like the best shot they could find. This is like the best shot to make it look as busy as possible. And a lot of these cars, these are not even like jihadi supporters. These are, most of them are just regular Iranians just going about, their lives trying to like ignore all the Durkas, right? But like, this is it. Like, this is as much support as they can drum up, right? Look at that. Like, it's so sparsely lined. Look at that. They're basically like lining up in a single row to make it seem as if the crowd is much bigger. Crowd is much bigger than what's actually there. Do you see how little support they have? This is wild. But this is the stuff that you won't hear about or won't see in Western media because they don't know where to look. All right, let's go to the next video that I have for you guys. Okay, let's go to this one.
شما غلط میکنی حرف از مذاکره میزنی. شما شکر میخوری حرف از مذاکره میزنی. وقتی رهبر من هنوز بیانیه نداده تو بیجا میکنی رهبر منو تحت فشار میذاری. من اجازه نمیدم رهبرم جام زهر بنوشه. من کفه خیابون وایسادم. بیا میدون انقلاب. اول خونه منو بریز بعد بیا اینجا حرف از آتش بس بزن. آتش بس نداریم. آتش بس مال اون زمانی بود که شماها تو دور بودید. الان آتش بس تموم شده. آقامو به شهادت رسوندن. هنوز آقای من تدفین نشده.
So, okay, so she's basically freaking out, and she's basically, by the way, she's one of the paid actors. So we've seen her before. She's been in several other like Durka jihadi videos, right? So she's basically yelling and freaking out. She's like, you have no right to sign a peace deal with the, the great Satan. You have no right to sign anything. They killed our supreme dictator. We still haven't even buried him yet. Who gave you the right to sign a peace deal? Our supreme dictator said that, only war, no negotiations. So, she's, it's a paid actress, but she's freaking out now. She's freaking out. She's like, he's like, Allah, she's like, my sir. She's like, my sir still hasn't been buried yet. And then she's like, his blood's not even dry yet, right? So basically, like, he was just murdered. He was just exterminated, and you guys already want to sign a peace deal. So, weird edit with, gosh, I forget his name. That guy. I forget his name. Oh my gosh, it was like the Late Show host or whatever. But anyways, I never really watched late night shows because, like, they're all, like, weird lefties. But gosh, I should know his name, but I've literally forgotten who he is. It's just like a weird edit someone put on top. Okay, all right, let's go to some Islamic regime footage. Wow, okay. Wait, let me make this bigger. So he's saying, right now, what are future generations going to say about us? He's like, they shed the blood of our beloved leader, right? That's Ali Khamenei. They shed the blood of our beloved leader. That's not a small matter. And then he's like, and know this. Even if the current leaders decide to make a deal with the United States, the people will not forget it. They will not let it go.
متشکرم. من تازه دیدم که توی یک از این اکانت‌های منتسب به موساد حتی رهبر عظیم الشأن انقلاب رو تهدید کردن. یعنی اینطوری نیستش که بگن سید علی خامنه‌ای شهید شد و تمام. آموشتبا رو هم دارن تهدید می‌کنن.
Oh, and then the other Durka says, I've seen in like some of these Mossad accounts, it's not enough for them to have exterminated Khamenei. They're now going after Mujtaba. They're now threatening the current supreme dictator, the third one, the cardboard Ayatollah.
تهدید میکنن نماینده‌های پاکستان برای میانجیگری نمیان، برای تهدید دارن میان در ایران. تهدید میکنن
آموشتبا رو هم دارن
تهدید میکنن نماینده‌های پاکستان برای میانجیگری نمیان، برای تهدید دارن میان در ایران.
Wait, did I catch that properly? Oh my gosh, they're attacked. Oh my gosh, guys, it's like Durka versus Durka. It's like Durka gone wild. Because he just said the representatives of Pakistan are not coming to like, they're not coming here. They're not coming to like occupied Iran to, like negotiate or something. They're coming to threaten. Guys, they're now attacking Pakistan.
و بدونید این فضا اینه و شما اگر اینجوری هزینه ایجاد نکنی، نشون ندی من چه سطحی عمل میکنم، رهبران شما رو، مردم شما رو، زیرساخت‌های شما، نقشه قطعی آمریکا تکرار اون ماجرای سودان و سومالی و لیبی است. اگه نشون بدی قدرت، رهبرانت حفظ میشن، مردم حفظ میشن، آسیبی که میبینی کمتره. ولی اگه الان نشون بدی که من میرم عقب، اینها جلوتر میان. اون
Okay, so basically he's saying like, now is not the time to back down. If we back down, if we surrender, then what happened in Libya and Sudan and wherever, that's going to happen here. They're going to come after us. If we sign a surrender deal, that means they're going to attack us. They're going to destroy us. So now he's like, now is the time to stand up and fight back. Oh my gosh. Do you see how they're freaking out? Like this is what I mean when I tell you that there's a meltdown within the Islamic regime. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making it up. They view this MOU by President Trump as surrender. They view the MOU as surrendering to America, the great Satan, right? And now they're even going after Pakistan. Not that I care about Pakistan, right? Like, I mean, it's terrorists versus terrorists, so I don't really care about the Pakistani government because, they're Islamists as well. But I also have some comments for you. Here, I just want to make sure that I translate this properly. Guys, this is so good. Wait, guys, this is so good. Wait. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot and I'm going to share my screen, okay? Because I'm giving you like the live translations. So, look at this. Actually, why don't I do this? Why don't I here, you know what? Let me take the translated version and I'll send it to myself. And then I'll upload it to StreamYard so that you guys can follow along with the English translation. This is so good. Wow. Okay. See, guys, we're literally like live streaming on the spot. Okay, where is it? Oh, you're gonna love this, guys. Okay. So this is the Iranian version. Now let me share. Okay, so this is the English translation. So these are just, guys, this is from like some Telegram channels from the Islamic Regime Telegram channels, literally freaking out. So these are what the supporters of the Islamic Regime are saying. One person is saying, it's likely that Mujtaba was martyred and was hidden from the people so that they could abuse him whenever they wanted. Do you think it is logical for the leader to negotiate with the murderer of all his family members, right? So this is what I mean when I tell you it's like, Durka gone wild. So one Islamic Regime supporter actually thinks that the current cardboard supreme dictator is dead and he's just being used as a scapegoat, because they're like, do you think it's logical for Mujtaba to negotiate with the murderer of his family members? And then someone else says, where exactly is the leader? Where is Mujtaba? Rumor has it that the medical team imprisoned him. Otherwise, why should we sign the shameful agreement? Guys, these are the Durkas, remember? And then someone else says, so they're referring to Mujtaba Khamenei. Until they come in front of the camera and say in their own words that they have passed through the blood of their martyred father, they mean, Ali Khamenei, the supreme dictator, no one will believe these statements, right? So guys, the Islamic Regime supporters are not buying. They're not buying the fact that apparently Mujtaba Khamenei has agreed to sign this surrender deal, right? This peace deal. It's a surrender deal. And they know it. And now the Islamic Regime supporters are like, what's going on? Where's Mujtaba? Why haven't we seen him? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he being held hostage? Why is he signing a peace deal with the murderer of his family members, with the murderer of his fathers? Right? So here's some screenshots. Let me get you some more comments. What's this? Okay, no, that's that. I'll say that for another time. What's this one? Oh. Oh. How long is this clip? Oh, okay, this is very long. Okay, so this is a 5-minute long clip. Okay, I'm gonna get through as much of this as I can, and then we're gonna go to Sean Hannity, because I want to hear what Sean Hannity has to say as well. but this is Qa'ani. I'm going to try to summarize it, okay? I'm going to try to summarize. So, but
روزی که در اون مرحله حدود 2 هفته قبل به ضاحیه حمله کردن 3 موشک زدن. جمهوری اسلامی قانونا و بر مبنای توافقی که کرده بود و امریکایی‌ها زیرش رو امضا کرده بودن.
Oh my gosh, you know what? This one is too good. This one is too good. Okay, so guys, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to save this video for tomorrow night, okay? Because this is a 5-minute long video. I'm going to work on preparing subtitles for this one, okay? So I want to get subtitles for that one because I really want to go through that and share the entire thing, right? What's this one? Okay. Now, here's the thing. I want to also share how Goldie. So remember, I was starting to talk about this and then Sean Hannity came on. Let me just keep an eye on Fox News because, sorry, Jesse Waters came on. Let me keep an eye on Fox News so that we can go to Sean Hannity when he starts because I want his take. But guys, look at this. So Goldie posted this. Oh, you know, Iran is strong and, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He means the Islamic regime, right? He is being trolled so hard. Look at this. Look at this. So people are like putting like this image underneath it, right? Like all the dead terrorists, right? And then, wait. There's one where, like, these are all of the, so this person is like, they killed Ali Khamenei and a large number of commanders. You opened the Strait of Hormuz. Uranium nuclear facilities were destroyed. You're talking about victory, you idiot, right? So there's one post. And then look at this. People are literally, guys, look at this. People are literally making memes where this is Goldie and this is Araqchi, and they're basically showing the finger to the dead supreme dictator and Qasem Soleimani, right? So they're trolling him. They're like, this is you. This is you. You're basically, you know, spitting on the graves of the supreme dictators, right? So they're literally having a meltdown and they view Goldie and Araqchi as traitors. So there's that. And then, yeah, this is really horrible. That's really sad. Those are some of the murdered people. What's this one? Yeah, people are so. Oh yeah, and then someone else is saying, and like, what about revenge? What about taking revenge for Khamenei's death? Right. So like these are that's you know, Iranian trolling him, right? And then this person is like, you're basically screwed. Oh my gosh, this person. Wait, is this a jihadi or like a regular Iranian? Let's see. No, this person's a regular Iranian, so he's not a jihadi. So this person is saying, go sign the surrender deal, right? Bora taslim name ro imza kon. Go sign the surrender deal, right? And then this other person is like, you spy, you sold everyone out and killed them just to seat yourself on the throne. Your daughter will definitely go to Paris and London for shopping next time, not Turkey. You filthy killer bastard, stinking rotten. Soon we'll settle the score with each and every one of you one by one. Guys, so all these Islamic regime like officials, they are being trolled by both Islamic regime supporters, right? Like literally, first of all, the Durkas are freaking out and the Durkas are calling for their death. But they're also being trolled by the, you know, regular Iranians who are against the Islamic regime trying to overthrow them, right? Look at this. Oh wait, look at this. So they're also posting this speech from Goldie. This is from like I think last year. It's got English subtitles, so I'll read it along. So this is what Goldie was saying you know, just a few months ago. So he's like, the leader Khamenei said we will not negotiate with America. He's like, that's it. This is clear. That's it. He's like, the leader said, we will not negotiate with America. That's it. That's it. He's like, once I was asked, Mr. Ghalibaf, is there a difference? Wait.
In just one moment, we will be joined by the Vice President of our country. J.D. Vance is in studio with us. Great to have you. No topic off limits, including the historic peace agreement with Iran that defied expectations, got across the finish line, thanks in part to the Vice President. We will discuss the President's trip that is ongoing now for the G7. What does the Vice President think about Graham Plattner, James Tallarico, other radical Democrats running in midterms? What about 2028? And will Vice President Vance make it official tonight right here and throw his hat in the ring? As you can see, a lot of ground to cover. And why is he going on The View, including the Vice President's very first book since his world-famous Hillbilly Elegy? It's entitled Communion, Finding My Way Back to Faith. It is officially out tomorrow. Amazon.com, Hannity.com, bookstores all around the country. And without further ado, Mr. Vice President, how are you?
Good to see you, Sean.
Good to see you. I don't get to see you in person a lot.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Okay, so you start off this life in Appalachia and very tough upbringing, very poor upbringing, difficult times, abuse at home. Your mom struggled with addiction. You have a devout grandmother. Now you're the Vice President, you're 41 years old, and now you're negotiating what might be the path to peace in the Middle East for the first time in however many thousands of years. Not a bad life.
Not a bad life at all, man. Only in America. And I think that if you have a life like I've led, you have to have incredible gratitude to the country. And the best way to show that gratitude is just try to do as good of a job as humanly possible. That's what I write about in the book, fundamentally, is this sense that, you know, my life has been so charmed. In some ways, things have been a struggle, but in a lot of ways, man, I've just been so blessed. And there's this sense that God was always looking out for me, even when I strayed from the path, even when I called myself an atheist. That faith that my grandmother had sort of imbued me with was always there in the background. And of course, it's an important part of the way that I go about my duties today, but it's just an important part of who I am. It fundamentally illuminates everything else about me. And hopefully people will pick up the book and learn a little bit about me and learn a little bit about my faith journey, and maybe it'll be useful to them.
Well, we'll get into that in more detail. All right, so let's talk about the Iranian deal.
Sure.
What frustrates me about the Iranians, Donald Trump says A, and somebody will come out, some aspect of that government, and contradict what the president said.
Yeah.
And they came out with, quote, a memorandum of understanding, which is what was signed, official signing on Friday in Geneva. And it contradicted a lot of what the president said. Any of that true?
No, it's not. So I've seen a lot of misinformation out there. I've seen $24 billion going from the United States to Iran. That number is totally false, totally made up. Fundamentally, what this thing does, Sean, is you got to appreciate is, number one, the Straits of Hormuz are open immediately. You already see oil prices coming down substantially, and I think they're only going to come down even further. Number two, it ensures that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. And number three, it does go and say, look, if the Iranians are willing to change their ways, if they're willing to behave like a normal country, stop trying to build a nuclear weapon, stop trying to fund terrorism all over the Middle East, then we are willing to actually fundamentally transform our relationship with them. That's what the president has offered. Now, of course, we would need to verify that. We would need to see real progress and real action.
They
not
know
just
that's
words.
part of the deal?
Absolutely. It's written right there in the agreement, Sean. And here's the thing. Yes, you're right. Sometimes when, information about this deal will leak out, you'll have somebody on a propaganda channel in that country, in Iran, who will say something that isn't true. I think it's sort of expected. It frustrates me too, but it's expected that some Yahoo is going to say something about the deal that is untrue. What really bothers me and frustrates me and is unexpected when the American media literally picks up talking points and propaganda from the IRGC that has no support in the text of the agreement that we've actually negotiated and no basis in reality. This is good for the American people. The Iranians don't get a dime unless they behave and change their behavior. And this means that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, Sean.
That's why they don't get a dime. Do they ever get an American dime, a taxpayer dollar?
No. So number one, first of all, they never get a dime of American taxpayer money, ever. Full stop. Not even close. What we have said is there's a lot of economic benefit in the United States relieving a lot of sanctions and welcoming them back into the world economy. There's a lot of benefit there, not American money, but there's a lot of economic prosperity that can flow from that. What the president said to them is, we want you to be a successful country. But for you to be a successful country, you've got to give up on this threat. You've got to give up on this desire to have a nuclear weapon. And if you do that, the United States is willing to have a much better relationship.
All right, let me go to this. The number one report that I've been reading leading up to this interview tonight is that the Qataris are giving them $300 billion with the sign, seal, and approval of the U.S. The president did put out a truth denying all of it. Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon, and the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $300 million is fake news. We are not giving them an American dollar, number one, true. And number two, did the U.S. ever sign off on the Qataris paying them that money?
No, we've not. The agreement says they are not getting a single dime of American money. That's just not what this is. What the agreement does say, Sean, is, again, if the Iranians behave, and if there are sanctions relief, and if the Iranians are integrated into the world economy, we would invite other countries, not us, but other countries to invest in their country. That's fine, but only if they comply with the terms of the agreement. Really, we have an option here, right? The president of the United States has given us optionality, which is great for the American people. Step back for a second. Their conventional military is destroyed. Their nuclear weapons program is destroyed. The Strait of Hormuz is now open. Now, we have two pathways.
Is it open toll-free?
It is open toll-free, and that's very explicit in the agreement. But now we have two pathways we can go down. Pathway number one is the Iranian economy continues to be strangled. We don't want that. That's not our desire. But in order for them to get pathway two, which is reintegration into the world economy, they have to behave like a normal country. It's a very simple principle, actually. And what's different about this than previous iterations of the Iranian government, previous negotiations, is one, the president's negotiating from a position of strength. But number two, we're actually talking directly to them. And I can't tell you, Sean, if 5 years down the road, they're going to honor that commitment, because I can't predict the future. What I can tell you is if they don't honor their commitments, they don't get a dime from anybody, the United States ever, but a dime from anybody else either.
The president has told me many times, he said, I can go back to bombing and obliterate them in 5 minutes at any point I want. How important was it, the two attacks that took place last week, one after an Apache helicopter of ours was hit?
Well, what it did, Sean, is it showed that we were serious, that there really are two options here. There's the military option, there's the diplomatic option. And if they were not going to choose the diplomatic option, then the president still had military options to use. But it's not just that, Sean. One of the things the American media has totally underreported is you talk about the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians try to close off the strait to try to choke off the world energy economy. The American media has totally underreported the fact that over the past 3 weeks, we've gotten more oil out of the Strait of Hormuz under the supervision of United States Central Command than we had the first 3 months of this operation. What does that mean? That means the Iranians' leverage was reducing by the day. That means that our position was growing stronger by the day. And I think that's why we've cut what is fundamentally a good deal for the American people, assuming the Iranians follow through. And if they don't follow through, there's no skin off our back. Nothing changes from where we are right now.
A lot of people are questioning why not release the Memorandum of Understanding. You said it will happen this week.
Correct. So there are some diplomatic protocols, Sean. There are some sequencing that the Pakistanis have been involved in this. The Qataris have been involved in this. And what the president has said is the agreement will come out on Friday. He may decide to release the agreement sooner than that. But we have this formal ceremony on Friday, and that's when the president right now wants to release the memorandum.
Let me get to this, because this is the most important thing. And the president has been most consistent on this point. And that is they cannot and will never have a nuclear weapon.
Correct.
How will we be able to verify that? Will we have American inspectors on the ground? What happens to the nuclear dust? Will it be degraded, or will it be removed? Will we be a party to that? Like, will it reflect what we did in Libya years ago?
So what we're going to do, Sean, is destroy the highly enriched material, the nuclear dust, as we call it. And, you know, we're going to do it with the Iranians. That's what the president has said. He wants us to work with the Iranians, with the international organizations, to destroy that stockpile of enriched material, because that does set them back a little bit further. We've already fundamentally destroyed their program, but that does set them back a little bit further, and that's important, of course, to the United States.
And they're agreeing never to enrich.
They're agreeing right now to eliminate the enriched stockpile. And if they don't get to a point where they agree to stop enriching, then they don't get the other benefits of the bargain. And that's the way this is set up. Is a lot of the technical details we're going to figure out over the next month, over the next 2 months. But the basic structure is they can get a lot if they comply with the United States demands.
Which they will never
get anything
comply.
if they don't comply with anything.
One of the more frightening things we learned in Epic Fury is the ballistic missile range. They can hit Paris, they can hit London. Does that have to come to an end?
That's part of not funding terrorism. They have to stop being a force for regional instability in the region. And if they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain. And that's what's so brilliant about the way the president has structured this, is he's saying, look, there are so many things that are possible for the people of Iran. Yes. Greater prosperity, greater economic integration with the world.
I really want
but
to
get those things, they have to behave like a normal country. Stop funding terrorism, stop trying to develop a nuclear weapon. And that really is the trade-off here. It's fundamentally, the ball is in the Iranians' court, Sean, because we're better off regardless.
I really want to go to the football match.
Destroyed whatever route they choose. The Strait of Hormuz is open, whatever route they choose. Their conventional military is destroyed, whatever route they choose. This gives the Iranians optionality to either become a normal country or not, but the United States is in a much better position regardless of what they choose.
You expressed an optimism that kind of surprised me earlier today in believing that the relationship has changed. You referred to and referenced the fact that for the first time in 47 years, America is going directly to the leadership there, including hardliners and the more political aligned.
There's no difference.
That's true.
That is true. We've never had this level of direct communication with the Iranian leadership. Of course, the previous generations of Iranian leadership are largely gone thanks to what's happened over the last few months. But there's something else that's interesting, Sean. You talk about hardliners and moderates. What's fascinating to me about their system is that we're seeing even people that I would have assumed are hardliners who are kind of saying, you know what, maybe it was a mistake for us to do the things that we've done over the last 40 years. Maybe we should turn over a new leaf in the relationship with the United States of America. As the president always says, Sean, do we trust anyone? No, we don't trust anyone. We do verify, and we do extend this hand and say, look, if you guys are willing to change, we're willing to change how we've dealt with you too.
Let's talk about any place, anywhere, anytime, U.S. inspectors. That's that part of the deal?
Yeah, that's absolutely something that we are negotiating over, Sean. That's one of the final details that's going to be figured out here is if you go back to the original Obama JCPOA, there were a couple of big problems with it. Number one, by the way, is that the Gulf Arabs hated the Obama deal. Why? Because they thought that it empowered the Iranians to be a malign actor. It actually enriched the Iranians while they were misbehaving. This deal, the Gulf Arabs love, because they know that this is the kind of deal that can fundamentally transform the Middle East. Another problem with that deal is that the inspections regime was effectively non-existent. There was a little bit there, but it was basically non-existent. This goes back to our fundamental principle here, that if they show verifiable commitment, and that means a real inspections regime, then they can get the benefits of the bargain.
Obama took a shot and said, I don't think this deal is any better than the deal we had before. The JCPOA was dramatically different than what you were describing here tonight.
And I'd ask the president, the former president, I'd say, Obama, why in the world, if it's the same thing, why is it that the Gulf Arabs hated your deal and they love our deal? They are the ones who are in the region. They know what it means to enrich the worst terrorist regime in the world. And they also know what it means to turn over a new leaf and to go to a different future. So I think President Obama, he should acknowledge that the people who are closest to this, they love the Trump deal. They hate the Obama deal. And that's maybe the biggest endorsement of this plan.
Okay, so I just want to just bear down. They're going to hand over the nuclear dust. They're agreeing to no nuclear weapons. They're agreeing to inspections. They don't get one U.S. taxpayer dollar. And, okay, you really believe that a regime that I would argue could not be trusted, I refer to it as a death cult, that what brought them to this point? What changed? Is it they're now at their fourth tier of leadership? What do you think changed?
I think it's a combination. First of all, I don't believe anything, Sean.
No.
It's very important.
That's
As the
important.
president has said, we have to verify. We're going to reward action. We're not going to reward words. But fundamentally what's changed is, number one, we're on the third or fourth generation of leadership. That is true. Number two, they've seen that the president is serious. They've seen that he's willing to exert that leverage and actually do what's necessary in order to force the Iranians to come to the table. And number three, Sean, this is important. It's underreported. Their economy has been in a free fall for a very long time.
That is true.
So you combine the president's leverage that he's put on them, you combine the new leadership, and you combine the fact that their economy is in shambles. And I think that they see there's a real opportunity here to turn over a new leaf, so long as they do the right thing.
So on the verification
process,
process, once we get along, they're either going to go along with the commitments they made.
Oh, you're right, the
what is
copyright
next.
issue.
And what do you
Oh.
say to the people like me that have been very
That's
skeptical
true.
of the
No, there's a
regime
copyright
for
issue.
all these years? Number one state sponsor of terror, death to Israel, death to America.
Yeah,
I'm skeptical. If
Sure.
this is all true, Reagan talked about this in '85. He said there might be an opportunity for peace in that region, and it might be all of these countries finally getting along. And you even expressed hope that that might be a result of this.
Well, again, I'll tell you, the Gulf Coast countries under the president's leadership, they actually feel that that's possible. They don't believe anything either. They're not certain. They're not going to predict what the Iranians are going to do 5 years from now, but they see real opportunity. So we're going to walk down this pathway. We're going to see how serious the Iranians are. And Sean, you asked, what if they don't meet these obligations? What if they don't do what they promised they're going to do? Number one, they don't get any benefits of the bargain. And as the president would say, we have all the cards. Their economy will still be in very tough shape if they don't get the relief that they need to get in order to make progress. We're still going to have incredible military might. We're still going to have diplomatic leverage over them. We have the cards, and if they don't honor the commitment, we'll figure out what to do when we get there.
So basically, the president, if I had to guess or interpret, I've known President Trump for 30 years. I would say that means go back and resume bombing.
It could.
It could be. And he would, I don't think he would hesitate.
It could mean the blockade goes back on, Sean. It could mean a lot of things. But what the president has said is he doesn't want to do those things. He wants Iran to be a normal country. They've got to act like it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen with the Islamic regime, though.
Philosophical, because
Iran will never be a normal country when
and
the
I've known
Islamic regime
Donald
is
Trump,
in
President
power.
Trump, for 30 years.
That's not going to happen.
And some people have been trying to portray him as an isolationist. I'm like, well, he wiped out the ISIS caliphate, took out Soleimani, took out Baghdadi and associates, dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan, and committed to Midnight Hammer, Epic Fury, and Maduro. That's not an isolationist.
No, he's never been an isolationist. What he is, Sean, is I would say he has an America First foreign policy. He uses American economic and military power to pursue the interests of the American people. Now it's interesting, though, Sean. People always ask me, how do you make sure that the Iran war doesn't become a quagmire like maybe some of these conflicts were back in the early 2000s? And I always say the way that you prevent that is that you do what Donald Trump is doing. You set clear objectives. You accomplish those objectives, and then you reevaluate whether you want new objectives or whether you've accomplished what you need to accomplish. And that's why the president has been able to do, think about it, very discreet, very successful military operations that are part of a broader strategy to make America better off.
What should Americans take away from what you are saying here today, the hope you're expressing that we've turned a corner, this conflict can end? And what about other countries that may remain in conflict with them? Obviously, Israel would be one.
Yeah, well, look, if this deal works, and if we actually get the things that we expect out of this negotiation, then we're going to have broader regional stability and peace. The reason why our Arab allies, our Gulf allies are so excited about this is because they think this is a new day in the Middle East. But again, if it's not, then it's not. If the Iranians don't comply, then we're going to go back to the same relationship that we had before, where we have all the cards. I really do believe, if you think about this from the perspective of the Israelis, and obviously, we care most about the American people, but the Israelis have been good partners on a lot of this stuff. Our perspective is this has eliminated the Iranian nuclear threat. That's good for Israel. It's also good for the rest of the region. We've substantially weakened their economic and military might. That's good for Israel and also the rest of the region. This deal is going to be good for everybody. It's going to be good for the whole world.
I could never understand after October 7th, if you extrapolate out their population in Israel versus ours, that's the equivalent of 40,000 dead Americans in a day.
Sure.
Donald Trump's president, If J.D. Vance is president, 40,000 Americans dying a day, what would you do?
Go absolutely crazy. The American people would demand a significant response. I mean, we saw this in September 11th, Sean.
Yeah.
We knocked out 2 countries that were involved in terrorism purely because of 9/11. We have to respond to
I really
terrorism.
need to watch this
But I think what the
match,
president has
because I
done
wanna
here is
see
very
all the
effective.
Iranian
He
flags.
has, I think, defanged the largest state sponsor of terrorism. He's ensured they're never going to get a nuclear weapon. And now he's actually saying, you know what? Now that you're in a position where you don't have leverage over us, we have leverage over you. Let's make a deal.
Take a break. More with J.D. Vance on the other side, live in studio as we continue.
So that was pretty much JD Vance on Sean Hannity. Guys, so before I go, because the football match started and I really, really want to watch it, because I want to watch the Islamic Regime team lose. I also want to keep an eye out for all of the flags, because guys, I'm going to have some big major updates for you tomorrow. However, there you go, right there. If you look in the middle there, you can see someone holding the lion and sun flag. So I'm also seeing on Instagram, so many Iranians are sneaking the lion and sun flag in, and they are waving the lion and sun flag in opposition to not just FIFA, but to the Islamic regime. Because the football team does not represent the Iranian people. The football team represents the Islamic regime. They are not our team. And so I'm going to have so much footage for you guys tomorrow. Can't even wait to share it all with you. But I do want to go to your super chats before we end the live stream, because it's coming up to 2 hours now. And 2 hours is about, the mark there for me. So Todd Roughgarden says, I'm from the US and I watched you on Piers Morgan. You were absolutely great and you were in the right spot, dead center. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Todd. I hope you enjoyed my Piers Morgan clip and appearance. So yeah, it's honestly, it's like dealing with all these like Durka jihadis. It's wild, right? Like it's just everyone has an opinion on Iran and they all think they know better than actual Iranians what's best for Iran and what Iranians think and want. But thank you. I appreciate that, Todd. Very, very kind of you. User became a new member. Welcome. Welcome to Goldie's gang. Russ says, Dear IRGC, the IRGC member standing next to you is a good friend of mine. Please treat him well, DJT. Yeah, that's pretty much what Donald Trump is doing when he's posting screenshots of Abbas Araghchi. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like he's pitting them against one another, contributing to the meltdown. Catherine Waters says, have you heard about a nuclear leak claims by the IRGC? Fake news. I probably wouldn't trust that. Chris says, hey Goldie, American here. We're still with you and Iranian patriots. Thank you so much, Chris. We love America. Don't listen to the haters, aka anyone on PRC. I don't listen to them. They're inconsequential. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. I pray for a free Iran every day. Long live free Iran and Javid Shah. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Very kind of you to say. And of course, we Iranians, we love America. We love Americans. So long live America. God bless America. And I know yesterday was Flag Day. Happy Flag Day. And yeah, I think, happy July 4th when it comes. You guys are going to be celebrating your 250th anniversary of, freedom and independence. And I'm so excited for you guys. I'm so happy for you guys. Who knows? Maybe I'll be somewhere in the US celebrating. If I can sneak my way in there, who knows? Guys, so if I was going to sneak into the US to celebrate 4th of July, where should I go? Give me your suggestions, not in the live stream chat, because in the live stream chat, I can't keep up with all the comments, but after the live stream is done, put it in the video comments, right? Let me know where do you think would be the best place for me to go celebrate the 4th of July if I was going to sneak into the United States. I don't actually mean sneak in, right? I would go there legally, but you know what I mean, kind of just show up. Roy says, do you still think an uprising is possible? 100%. Absolutely. We have never been closer to an uprising. We're very close. Wes Downer gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Wes. Thank you so much for the support. Aki says, true Iranians know Iran's the nation of Cyrus. Exactly. So we're not the nation of Hussein, the Arab Muslim warlord from Karbala. We are the nation of Cyrus. We're the children of Cyrus. We're Iranian. We're not Arab. Absolutely, Aki, 100%. Joanne says, oh, it's my 50th birthday today. Have been hoping it would be the day people take the regime. It didn't happen. That's okay, Joanne. First of all, happy 50th birthday to you. Wishing you all the best. Tavallud Mubarak, Azizam. All the best. And don't worry, we are so close. This is the best time to celebrate your birthday, because I hope that with this live stream, you enjoyed the meltdown from all of the IRGC Durka jihadis, right? I mean, yes, today wasn't the day that the Iranian people took over and overthrew the Islamic regime, but it was still a pretty good day because we were exposing the internal meltdown, right? So we're getting much closer. So I hope you enjoyed all of the Durka-ness that I brought for you and the internal meltdown. And once again, happy 50th birthday. Wishing you all the best. Thank you for being here with us. And guys, everyone in the chat, put a J for Joanne, and everyone wish her a very, very happy birthday. Daniel says, Lion and Sun flag spotted the World Cup. Yes, several guys. Like, the video footage is just starting to come out. So I've been so focused on getting all the updates and sharing all the updates with you for the jihadi stuff that I'm now starting to go, prep for tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow night, we're going to focus on FIFA. And I'm going to bring you all the internal drama from FIFA. So keep an eye out for that. George says, I'm furious FIFA honored Iran's flag. Well, the Islamic regime. They honored the Islamic regime flag and anthem at the World Cup. Yeah, it's a garbage flag, a garbage anthem. I don't even know the lyrics of the Islamic regime anthem. Didn't FIFA hear that almost 50,000 people were gunned down in the streets in January? Oh my God, I'm really pissed. Yeah, I mean, FIFA knows. FIFA doesn't care, unfortunately. The international institutions pretty much always support the Islamic regime and the Muslim Nazis. But however, as you can see, that is not stopping Iranians. And Iranians are fighting back. And guys, I have been gathering images and footage of demonstrations, protests, and now all of the flags that Iranians have snuck inside of the stadium in defiance of FIFA's ban. So let's see what happens and how it plays out. I'm going to be monitoring the footage. I'm going to have so much to share with you tomorrow. 5B Bassist says, why do they need to bury Khamenei when we already did that? Also, any Iranian music recommendations? Yeah, 5B, good point, right? That's I like that. It's pretty funny. Any Iranian music recommendations? Yeah, so if you go to my YouTube playlist, it's on my YouTube page. My playlist, it's called Iran Revolution Live music, videos, and songs. I have a bunch of Iranian music there. That's part of the playlist from different Iranian singers and different accounts on YouTube. So definitely go check that out. Lots of good places to start there. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you all for joining me for tonight's evening edition of The Goldie Show. I hope that after sharing a lot of this, Durka, internal jihadi meltdown, you have a better understanding of the real impact that President Trump is having on the Islamic regime. And while some people think that President Trump is capitulating, it's in fact the opposite. President Trump is forcing their hand. And as you can see, the supporters of the Islamic regime do not like that one bit. That's why they're out in the streets. That's why they're calling for the deaths of other officials. That's why they're literally turning in on themselves, right? Durka versus Durka. It's literally like Durka's gone wild. It's like open season on jihad, except the targets are each other. And that's the analysis And that's the footage that you don't see in the mainstream media. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in so that you guys can get the Iranian perspective and the insider exclusive perspective. I'm Goldie Ghamari. You've been watching The Goldie Show. And as always, now you know. See you guys tomorrow night.